Junko Furuta. Junko Furuta's death is one of the most horrifying and disturbing torture cases in modern history. On November 25, 1988, Junko was targeted by a group of local delinquents led by 17-year-old Hiroshi Miyano, who had ties to the Yakuza gang. Miyano had shown interest in Junko, but after she rejected him, he sought revenge. That evening, the gang prowled the streets looking for a target. One posed as a stranger in need, luring Junko to offer help. When she was alone, Miyano appeared and staged a fake rescue, pretending to save her from the staged threat. Claiming he'd walk her home, Miyano instead led her to a secluded area and revealed his true intentions. Threatening her with violence, he forced her to an abandoned building where his accomplices waited. What followed was a nightmare beyond imagination. Junko was held captive for 44 days at the home of one gang member. During that time, she endured relentless and unimaginable abuse: physical, psychological, and sexual. The boys, along with others they invited, tortured her daily. She was beaten, burned with cigarettes and lighters, starved, and denied water. She was raped hundreds of times, often by multiple individuals in a single day. Her body was mutilated, bones broken, fingers crushed, eyelids burned with hot wax. She was forced to consume her own urine and eat cockroaches. Untreated injuries became infected. Despite the horror, Junko never tried to escape. The gang threatened to kill her family, and their Yakuza connections made the danger real. As her condition worsened, the captors grew frustrated with her declining health. On January 4, 1989, after losing a game of mahjong, the gang turned their rage on Junko one final time. They beat her with an iron barbell, doused her legs in lighter fluid, and set her on fire, and kicked her so hard she convulsed. After hours of torture, Junko finally died. Panicking, the boys placed her body in a large oil drum, filled it with concrete, and dumped it in a remote area, hoping it would never be found. Weeks later, Miyano was arrested for an unrelated assault. During questioning, a gang member mistakenly confessed, leading police to the concrete drum with Junko's remains. Public outrage erupted. Because the perpetrators were juveniles, sentences were shockingly light. Miyano got 20 years, others served less, some freed in under a decade, resuming their lives while Junko's was violently stolen. Her death became a symbol of systemic failure and left a lasting scar on Japanese society. Junko's memory lives on as a reminder of the resilience she showed in the face of unimaginable cruelty. Isadora Duncan. Isadora Duncan was a trailblazer of modern dance, reshaping the art form by abandoning rigid ballet for expressive, natural movement. Her life, marked by innovation and tragedy, ended in one of history's most bizarre accidents. Born in 1877 in San Francisco, Duncan spent most of her career in Europe, becoming one of the era's most influential dancers. Known for her artistic vision and unconventional life, embracing radical politics and rejecting norms, she also suffered deep personal tragedy. In 1913, both her young children drowned when their car plunged into a river. She never fully recovered. By the mid-1920s, struggling financially, Duncan moved between France and the Soviet Union, seeking refuge. On September 14, 1927, in Nice, France, Duncan prepared for a simple drive in a new convertible ammo car. She wrapped a long silk scarf, her signature accessory, around her neck. The scarf, a gift from a friend, was unusually long and strong. Climbing into the passenger seat, she told friends, "Goodbye, my friends, I go to glory." Those would be her last words. As the car sped up, the scarf's end caught in the rear wheel or axle. It tightened violently around her neck, yanking her from the car. The jerk broke her neck or dragged her along the pavement, causing fatal injuries. Onlookers were horrified. The driver only realized something was wrong when he felt the sudden pull. News of Duncan's gruesome death spread quickly across Europe and America. The world was stunned. How could someone who endured so much loss die in such a strange accident? Her funeral was in Paris, with her ashes at Père Lachaise Cemetery. Though her final years declined, Duncan's artistic legacy remained strong. She redefined dance, paving the way for generations of modern performers. Today, Isadora Duncan is remembered for her visionary art and the eerie tragedy of her final moments. Grigori Rasputin. Grigori Rasputin's death is one of history's most infamous and mysterious assassinations, wrapped in conspiracy and legend. A controversial figure at the Russian imperial court, he gained enormous influence over Tsarina Alexandra, sparking resentment among Russian nobility. In December 1916, a group of aristocrats plotted to kill him. Seeing Rasputin as a dangerous manipulator, threatening the empire's future. Rasputin rose from a Siberian peasant family to fame as a mystic and healer, especially after easing the suffering of Tsarevich Alexei, son of Tsar Nicholas II and Alexandra. With Russia in World War I and unrest growing, Rasputin's close bond with Alexandra, who ruled in Nicholas's absence, made him a target. Many nobles blamed him for political instability and corrupt appointments. In late 1916, conspirators led by right-wing politician Vladimir Purishkevich decided Rasputin had to die to save the monarchy. On December 29th, Rasputin was invited to the Moika Palace under the false pretense of meeting Prince Yusupov's wife. It was a trap. In a lavish basement room, Yusupov offered Rasputin cakes and wine laced with potassium cyanide. Shockingly, Rasputin showed no signs of poisoning and continued eating and drinking. Panicked, Yusupov shot Rasputin in the chest. Believing him dead, the conspirators left, only for Yusupov to return and find Rasputin's eyes open. Bloodied but alive, Rasputin lunged at Yusupov and staggered out, trying to escape. The assassins chased him, and Purishkevich fired multiple shots, hitting him twice, once in the back and once in the head. Rasputin still clung to life. The men beat him severely until he stopped moving. They wrapped his body, bound it, and dumped it through a hole in the frozen Neva River, hoping to hide evidence. When his body was recovered days later, an autopsy revealed water in his lungs. He'd been alive when thrown into the river and drowned. What was meant to be a quick, secret killing became a brutal ordeal, cementing Rasputin's legend as nearly impossible to kill. His assassins hoped removing him would stabilize Russia, but the opposite happened. Alexandra was devastated, convinced his death marked the Romanovs' end. Months later, the Russian Revolution led to Nicholas's abdication and the royal family's execution. Rasputin's death became one of many events hastening the monarchy's fall. His story grew legendary, fueled by rumors of supernatural resilience. While historians agree many details were exaggerated, his brutal assassination fascinates to this day. Emperor Valerian. Emperor Valerian's death is remembered as one of the most humiliating ends for a Roman emperor. Captured by Persian king Shapur I in 260 AD, his fate symbolized Rome's vulnerability during a crisis of external invasions and internal chaos. Valerian's capture, final moments, and aftermath reveal a dramatic fall from supreme power to a fate worse than death. At his reign, Rome faced invasions from Germanic tribes in the west and the Sassanid Persians in the east. Valerian became emperor in 253, aiming to strengthen Rome. He left co-emperor and son Gallienus to rule the west while he led an army east. Though the campaign began well, it collapsed due to poor planning, disease, and strategy errors. In 260 near Edessa, Valerian's forces were defeated and he was captured by Shapur, the first Roman emperor taken alive by a foreign enemy. Unlike emperors who died in battle or assassination, Valerian faced a degrading fate. Instead of respect or ransom, he was made a living trophy. Sources, especially hostile Roman and Christian ones, say Valerian was humiliated daily, forced to act as a footstool for Shapur mounting his horse. This showed that mighty Rome had fallen, and Valerian was a symbol of defeat. His death was even more horrific. Some accounts say Shapur ordered Valerian flayed alive and forced to swallow molten gold. Others claim his skin was removed, tanned like leather, stuffed with straw or manure, and displayed in a Persian temple as a lasting symbol of Persia's triumph. Valerian's capture devastated Rome. Gallienus was left ruling a fractured empire with low morale. The military suffered, and the empire splintered as generals declared themselves emperors, ushering in the crisis of the 3rd century. Meanwhile, Shapur continued conquests, emboldened. Valerian's downfall warns of the dangers of overextending an empire and underestimating enemies. While some death details may be exaggerated, his story remains one of Rome's darkest episodes.